What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Death of the Asia. Y'all go ahead and get in here, like the video, share the video. If you're watching from YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching from Facebook, like the page. And if you're on Facebook, head over to YouTube, like the page over there on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We about to get into some heavy things tonight. Some of this stuff might be a little triggering. So I just want to let you guys know that beforehand. It's been a whole bunch of BS that's been going on lately that moved me to talk about a deeper subject because I've experienced some of these things personally. So I think that I am fit to speak on this. As everybody know, what's been going on is it's a 18-year-old girl down there in Florida. I don't know what's going on with Florida. It seems like it's always something happening in Florida, don't it? But an 18-year-old woman named Deja Huckabook, and she married her godfather. I know this sounds real crazy, but she married her godfather, Mike Huckabook. And allegedly he used to actually sleep with her mom. So this been a hot ghetto mess. They were all on the internet going off on people online. The guy is supposed to be he done been every age from 46 to 61. So we don't know how old he is, but however old he is, he's definitely old enough to be her godfather, right? So she's 18 years old. I'm thinking that they have 2 kids together, whatever. That's neither here nor there. I didn't just read up on it or not to just confirm it, so don't take my word on it. But allegedly they have 2 kids together. But anyway, here's the thing, right? This little girl, or I say woman, because at the age of 18, you're considered grown, right? She's all online defending him. I have a clip where she was saying, if he's a predator, then he's my predator. He's not your predator. He ain't fucking with you and all this old kind of stuff. And it's really, really sad. And a lot of people were saying, well, she's grown now, and it's not like they're blood related, but it's still kind of weird to, not a lot of weird, I put it that way. It's weird as hell to have married somebody who has been somewhat of a father figure to you since you was a little baby, and then you turn around and you marry them. That's just weird to marry your father figure. But I'm gonna tell you something. Even though he did get the title godfather, a lot of girls, when they're younger, they do date older men looking for a father figure. You know, they're strangers. It's somebody that they don't know, or whatever the case may be. They never was called their godfather or anything like that. But a lot of girls date up looking for an actual father figure. The same way, like a lot of guys who are younger that like older women, they're looking for a mother figure. Now, these old people that's dating these young people, I don't know what the hell they're looking for. I don't know what an 18-year-old is going to have in common with a 47-year-old. That's a real big age gap. You know, I could see, you know, if it was 18 and 26, something like that, that's still a little pushing it or whatever, but that makes a little bit more sense. But you're talking about an 18-year-old and a 47-year-old, somebody that's 3 decades older than you. And you mean to tell me that y'all got something in common? Like, this nigga was born during the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? And you got something in common with him. Like, it just doesn't add up. You know, it's something. I really do feel like he gotta be slow. And if you listen to some of the things that he was saying and some of the clips, he rubbed me to be one of those wild, ratchet, ghetto Florida boys. That's what he come off as. But anyway, so some people was like, you know, she's 18 years old, she's grown, she's of age, she's legal. What's the issue? The issue is, I don't think people even pay attention to the grooming process. And I don't even think people look at pedophilia and grooming the same way. And it's so sad. Like, to me, someone who sits and wait and until a child get of age, and then they get with this person and they want to say, okay, they're grown now, they can't be charged with anything, I'm quote unquote not a pedophile, whatever the case may be. Yes, you are, because you still were looking at this kid as a sexual item. You were still objectifying this kid this whole time. So you sexualized this kid this whole time. And then you want to wait until they get older. And then too, you rob them of their childhood. Because I'm gonna tell you what happens, and this is the reason why I said that I wanted to have this conversation, because I'm gonna tell y'all my story, right? So this is what actually happens when somebody is grooming you. It's not anything that's harmful to you. This person is not actually doing anything at the present moment to actually hurt you. A lot of times when a guy is grooming a younger girl, he's, there for her. He's very protective of her. He plays as if he's her friend. And he kind of like guide her through her relationships with guys that's her age and everything. He kind of pretty much take on like a big brother type of role, right? That's exactly what happened to me when I was 14 years old. When I was 14 years old, I met a guy who was 18 years old. And it was never any hanky-panky, nothing like that. He never came on to me. I wouldn't have ever thought he had any type of romantic interest in me at all. Matter of fact, I had dated one of his friends and everything, or whatever the case may be. And he used to kind of like tell me about him and be like, well, he's too old for you to be talking to. So you definitely want to look at this person like, I don't think a 14-year-old is ever going to be looking at like a 17 or, an 18-year-old or anything like that. Like, this is a pedophile. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just, just a cute little young girl or whatever, running around and thinking I have a best friend in this guy, right? And throughout the years, he instilling me with all this different game and, telling me how to move and how to act out here, whatever, to preserve myself and all of this old kinds of stuff. After a while, if you knew me and you knew him, it was like we were the same person. Like my lingo of everything, some of the things that I got into, the way that I would talk, the way that I was dressed, my mannerism and all of that, it was like I was a little bitty mini me. I actually admired this person. I looked up to this person. I thought, like, in any type of situation, this person is going to be there for me. He's going to protect me or whatever the case may be. And that was my friend. At that time, that was my friend. And that's how I saw our relationship, as this is my friend. But again, what 18-year-old is going to really be trying to be friends with a 14-year-old? Now, this 18-year-old guy was being friends with a 14-year-old girl, right? How many 18-year-old girls do you know that run around with 14-year-old girls? You don't see that. Because that age gap, like you over here in high school, you about to graduate, you probably already done graduated. You thinking about college or whatever, if you're still in school and your birthday is late. You thinking about college, your future plans, all of this old type of stuff. This 14-year-old is just barely, making it through, getting into high school and everything. Still trying, probably ain't even, at this time, I hadn't even lost my virginity or any of that type of stuff. So of course I'm still really naive to the fact, not understanding everything that's going on. And at the end of the day, it wasn't anything like harmful to me or anything that felt malicious. And it's not supposed to. If it feels like you in some type of danger, you in some type of harm's way, then they're not properly grooming you. So for that girl to get on the camera and defend this guy, I understood it, because, she feel like, she his ride or die and he her ride or die. Like, they got each other back and they got to protect each other. She's going to protect him the same way that she felt like he has protected her all that time. If you look at what her mama had to say, it lets you know that she came up in an impoverished environment. I think her mama had went to jail and all that kind of stuff, and like left her to kind of pretty much fend for herself. And she probably had this guy that kind of stood in the gap and everything for her. So she trusted him, she loved him and everything. And I think at that time she did just look at him as a father figure, right? So people want to talk about like how did it get to a point where someone that you looked at as a father figure end up being someone that you marry? I'm gonna tell you what happens. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. So what happened to me was, you go through all these years knowing this person is always in your life, always there, somebody that you could call on, count on. They know that you're young, and they know that you got to go through things, and you got to process things and see life and everything. They're not going to hold you back from that. They're going to guide you through it, just like a parent would, like kind of like guide you through it to make sure you get through unscathed or whatever the case may be, preserving yourself for them type of thing. So as you mature and you start being in all of these different relationships and everything, this older person is still waiting here in the gap or whatever, and you're confiding into them. And again, this is not your blood for real, and this, you know how it be with the black folks, godparents and all that kind of stuff or whatever the case may be. There's just sometimes we just give you people that title. Like I have a godmother. We don't talk or anything like that. I know that this was the lady that my mama said was my godmother. So if I see her, I know that this was the one that my mama said was my godmother, but she's not active in my life or anything, right? So anyway, what ends up happening is you go through this process, you're living your little life, you're talking to these guys, you're confiding into this older guy that is supposed to be there and supposed to be protecting you and all this old kind of stuff or whatever the case may be. You're older now. You're able to kind of like tell him some things. You're a little wiser. And he hit you with some soulmate shit. He done told that girl they done been through everything together. You done been under this man for all of these years. So y'all definitely have similarities because you basically are a mini-me. You know what I'm saying? So y'all definitely have similarities. And y'all feel like y'all know each other better than anybody else in this world. You feel like you know him better than his mama do. He feel like you know him better than his mama do. Well, he know better. But you feel like he know you better than anybody in this world. And, like we've been through everything. You seen me at my lows. You seen me at my highs. You were always there. I thank you so much for protecting me. Like when you coming up in certain situations, I thank you so much for protecting me. You were loyal. You never let me down. You never let me fall. You always had my back, that type of thing. Initially, once you go through that process of this person telling you, oh, we're soulmates and we're supposed to be together, whatever, in your mind, even though you're older, you still kind of try and rationalize with that. Well, you kind of in your mind, like, all of this stuff has gone bad with all of these other guys. And, this has been the only one that has always been there or whatever. And so now you start thinking, maybe this is my soulmate. And at first, the idea seemed a little gross. Like for me, I looked at the person like my brother. I really did. Like this was my ace, boom, coon. So I looked at him like, this my brother, this my dog. You know what I'm saying? And so when he came at me like that, I knew he loved me and I loved him, but it was more so we love each other. I'm thinking the love that we have for each other is platonic, not romantic in any aspect, right? So now you thinking about People telling you, well, you should be with somebody that's your best friend. You should make sure that they're your best friend and all this old kind of stuff, right? So now it starts to take away that instinct where you're thinking about, well, this like my brother. You know what I'm saying? When you know he's not really your real life brother, but then you start looking past that and you're like, you know what? Maybe I should consider this, being that, we've been down with each other for so long. He knows everything. We don't have to go through this whole introduction process of getting to know it or anything like that. We could just pick up and we could just start running, right? We could get this thing off the ground and go with it. And then you feel safe in that space. And you end up dealing with this guy. And in her particular case, she ended up marrying this guy, right? So what happens after you marry this person? So now you've married this person. He's so much older than you. He ain't got too many more years. He got more years. He got more years behind him than he got in front of him, right? You end up being some type of caregiver or whatever the case may be. Even in one of the videos, he was talking about how he be running the streets. He'll slide down on anybody, but he'll slide down on anybody, but she be at work and all that. Let me tell you something. I was a fool when I was dealing with what I was dealing with. I was a fool. I made some of the dumbest decisions that you ever can make. You don't even realize how dumb the decisions are that you're making. Matter of fact, the same red flags that you would have picked up with another guy, the same thing that you wouldn't have ever done for another guy, for this one that has been grooming you, you will go to the moon and back for this motherfucker. And you end up doing some of the dumbest stuff that you can ever do in your life. Just ignorant. When you look at how those girls were acting with R. Kelly, you saw how they were acting. Ignorant. Just Stockholm Syndrome. They don't even know no better. This little girl, this little 18-year-old girl, how she was acting with this man. Same difference, just a fool behind him. And the thing is, I can't even clown the situation because I've been that girl. A lot of us may have been that girl and we didn't even realize it. So my hardest heartbreak probably done came from somebody who didn't have any business fooling with us in the first place. And then too, you want to put the responsibility on the younger person and be like, well, y'all girls, y'all like those older men. Yeah, we probably did like those older men when we were in school. We did we like those older men. But guess what? Why we like those older men? Because they were providing us with something. Now, the same thing those older guys was doing back then, it's like we ain't even falling for that no more. Like, they might have a car. They might bring us something to eat for lunch, or, school finna start back. They might buy us some school clothes or something like that, or whatever the case may be. Valentine's Day come up. We got little birds and stuff we could walk around the school with or whatever. Yeah, we got a kick out of that. So that's not a fault to the girl. It's this older person who knows that they shouldn't be dealing with them in the first place. And the thing is, in this case, how the lines get so blurred because you're like, okay, but she 18 years old. You think all of this just started happening? He been preying on this girl. Someone that is grooming somebody. What's the difference between a pedophile and somebody, a groomer? It's no difference. It's just that the one that's grooming you act out when they know that they can't get into any legal trouble by it. What's the difference? Like, what would you call somebody? Say, for instance, the legal age is I say the legal age is 18 years old, right? Let's say the legal age is 18 years old. Today is her birthday. She's 17 years old. Today is her birthday. Midnight come. Right at midnight, she's 18 years old. Right at midnight, they end up sleeping around or whatever the case may be. You mean to tell me that he's not a pedophile? She ain't even been of legal age for 2 good minutes. And you mean to tell me that this man is not a pedophile? I don't give a damn about what the law say. I'm not saying that anybody has to be at this because of her age or whatever. Anybody has to be locked up. I'm not trying to make a criminal case. I'm making a moral case. At the end of the day, it's still pedophilia when you get through. If you sit around grooming somebody, if you are looking at a younger person and you cannot wait until they grow up, you're looking at them like a sex object. You are objectifying them. You have sexualized a child. You are indeed a pedophile. If you looking at some kid and you sitting up here talking about, oh, you better go get your gun, or you better go get him some condoms and all this old kind of stuff, you are sexualizing a child. You are indeed a pedophile. It be a whole bunch of people online. They post their kids or whatever the case may be. Here come the I done seen women post their sons, they young boys or whatever. They about 16 or 17, athletic, of course. You know, they're in sports and everything. They might post their son, a handsome little boy. And here come the young girl. How old is he? Bitch, you know how old he is because you went to school with his mama. You knew her. You knew when she was pregnant. You went to her baby shower. You know how old this boy is. Why you got your ass on here asking how old her son is? You know what I'm saying? You know, you could clearly see that this is a little kid. Or you sitting up here see a little boy with a little bitty boy, a little toddler with a nice little haircut or whatever. It be women under there talking about, oh, you're gonna have to get him some condoms when he grow up. He gonna be a heartbreaker and all of that. What's all of that about? You know what I'm saying? What is all of that about? Or a guy post his a guy or a woman post their daughter, here come the men, you gonna have to go get you a gun. You're looking at this little girl. That's what you're doing. It's nothing about you. You're not about to post no kid. And I'd be like googly eyes. I don't care. If you could look, it's something about a younger person. You could see youth in a person. You could see when somebody is youthful. It ain't nothing about right now I'm 35 years old. You couldn't 19, 20, 21, 22. These little babies to me. You know what I'm saying? You could see that they're really young. You could tell in their face and everything, but you around here, you turned on by looking at these children. You are indeed a pedophile. You waiting on kids to grow up and everything. And I don't understand what that is all about. And I guess because I'm not a pedophile, that is not for me to understand. But it's sickening. I hate it for that girl. I didn't listen to anybody. You couldn't tell me anything when it came to that man. Matter of fact, if you put me in a situation where I had to believe him over the people who gave me life, I was going to believe what he said. That's how gone I was. It wasn't nothing that you was going to be able to tell me. It took, I'm going to tell you something. Even when it got to a point where the situation did start getting abusive, because the situation did get abusive, it wasn't physically abusive. You know what I'm saying? Because I lay hands in the name of Jesus. Yoko Boko Sha. Yes, it didn't get physically abusive, but it did get very mental and emotional abusive. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I would have wished we would have slugged it out, because I'm like, maybe if we did a little punching around or something like that, I wouldn't be having to go to therapy as often or whatever the case may be. You know, I'd probably be a little bit over it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to diminish any form of an abuse, because abuse is abuse. But that mental and emotional abuse, crushing you from the inside out or whatever the case may be, that hurt. But what ended up happening was it had got to the point where I couldn't even defend myself. I didn't even know how to defend myself against him because I had so much love. I had so much respect. And I was like, he's supposed to love me. You're not supposed to be the one that's hurting me. And if he said something, it was like, I felt like I can love him out of doing what he was doing to me, right? I was thinking like, let me do this. And like, I was trying to fix everything. It didn't matter what it was. Like and then it had got to the point where I just grew me a pair of balls, you know what I'm saying? And I just started going back off and stuff. But for about a year straight, it was, I was getting disrespected, getting called out my name. I always told what I'm not, and it was always some type of issue with me and all of this old kind of stuff. And I fixed one thing and now it's another thing. Nothing is ever right. This person acting like, they just don't like me or whatever the case may be. And it was more so like a control thing. And I was just kind of battling with myself and I lost myself in that situation, And so I'm just over here, over there, just everywhere, just trying to figure out like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And my happiness became, my pleasure and my happiness came from making him happy, even if it hurt myself. That's how messed up I was. And I thought that's what I was supposed to do because he had groomed me to believe that. And so once it got to that point where that abuse started to happen, I rolled with it. I knew what to do in that situation. I knew how to respond. He had already taught me how to respond in these particular situations. And I did exactly that. But it wasn't until something ended up happening and it clicked on me. I'm like, Deasia, you ain't no punk bitch. Like, baby. You let everybody, and this is what people don't understand when women be going through things and they be like, people be understanding like, oh, she used to beat people ass. Like, why she don't get him back? Why she just let him do that? It's something that clicks in you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not thinking this person, they done pretty much brainwash you to a point where you don't respond. Look at what we experience here in the diaspora with our oppression or whatever the case may be. You don't respond like you would naturally respond to a threat, right? So now I'm sitting here like, hold up. A rebellion came. You hear me? I'm talking about, After a minute, I sat there for a minute. I did all this crying, and it was one night I cried till my nose started bleeding. And I'm like this. Blood is everywhere. And then it was one particular situation. I was like, I'm crying until my nose is bleeding. And it was one particular situation. I was in a bad situation. And I was like, even that didn't stop me at first. I was in a bad situation. And he was more concerned about his best interest instead of making sure that I was okay or whatever. And I was just like, it was a rough situation or whatever. I ain't gonna go into detail with that. And I realized I got to start standing up for myself. But when I realized I had to start standing up for myself, I was like, you know what? When I do this, I got to get up out of here. It ain't finna be because I didn't come from a dysfunctional background. I've seen abusive relationships and everything coming up, right? So I'm knowing like, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to fight this thing back. But I'm also not going to stay in it. This is not going to be the norm for me. I didn't necessarily have the strength at that time to just exit the situation because this person is all in my head. It's this narcissistic behavior or whatever the case may be. So now once I started standing up for myself or whatever, it was interesting because as more and more I started standing up for myself or whatever, it was like now he was getting a kick out of it or whatever the case may be. Like now you're turned on by it. So I understand. Hold on, let me see. I got a comment. Cream say, "What up, sis? This Sauce Garvey. Hey, Sauce Garvey. Um, so I understand the psychology behind all of this and what ends up happening, and I feel sorry for that little girl. I'm gonna call her a little girl because she's definitely still a little girl. I feel sorry for that little girl because when I hear him speak and the type of guy that he is, and he's not trying to, you know, make her into like help her to become a better woman or anything like that or whatever. He completely with the BS, sitting there, he a grown man, you 47 years old, you damn near 50, and you sitting here, you letting her do all the talking, and you're the one that is being called the pedophile. You sitting up here letting her do all the talking, you sitting up here letting her take all the smoke. It's gonna be some things that's gonna come down the pipeline. And I just hate it for her, right? I'm gonna show y'all this clip. Hold on, my thing about. I'm finna show y'all this clip of this girl protecting this man. Let me see if I can get it. While I'm looking for this, y'all, how about y'all go ahead and like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm gonna pull up this clip, and it really, when she said this in here, when I tell you, it just crushed me. It crushed me, and I've gotten to the point where I'm able to have certain conversations, and I don't just too much let them trigger me or anything anymore. But some of this stuff be hard for me to watch because, like I said, could nobody tell me nothing, and I almost destroyed my life. Hold on, this is loading. Okay, here go the clip, y'all. Take myself off.
The fuck?
Protect this nigga.
I always protect my baby. I don't give a fuck what y'all hoes gotta say. All y'all hoes trying to motherfucking talk y'all shit. Fuck y'all opinion. Okay, and if he a predator, he my predator. He's mine. He's not with y'all. I'm 18, so I'm grown. I didn't know that being 18 was something wrong with that. If I recall, some of y'all 18 and still stay with y'all mammies.
That's sad. She should be 18, still staying with her mama. That's what should be happening. She should be 18, still staying with her mama, or she should be in school. And this made me think about something else too, about how we do as Black people. Like just the fact that she feel like at 18 she should be living by herself. That's a problem that we have in our community as well, where we kick our kids out. We kick our kids out early, or make them feel pressured to leave. And her mama don't seem like she worth a damn anyway. But all at the same time, it's just you push your kids out into the streets. You push your kids out there. And I think her background had just been messed up to begin with. But that should be just a lesson to these parents who have teenagers that they're coming of age. They're about to be 18 years old, about to graduate school or whatever the case may be. Make sure that if you really love your kids or whatever, that they have a for sure plan before they leave your house. That when they leave your house, they'll be able to take care of themselves. Make sure that they're able to do that. When I was coming up, I was coming up or whatever the case may be. I had all this pressure to what you gonna be, what you gonna do. Like I just graduated high school. Like you ain't what have I been taught other than how to use a debit card and how to go fill out an application? I knew how to fill out an application. I knew how to go get a job. I knew how to use a cash register. But that's like a little summer job or whatever, a little high school job. I don't know how to manage a household and all this old kind of stuff. So 9 times out of 10, I remember it was a time where initially I had moved out of town to Fayetteville, Arkansas initially. And I used to be sitting up there looking at my cousins and them. I was like, okay, y'all get paid $10 an hour. This is the stuff that used to go through my head. I'm like, y'all getting paid $10 an hour, so that's what $400, probably $400 a week. They're gonna take taxes, so you only getting $300 and some dollars. You said your rent was $700. You got a car note, cable. To me, that thought process that overwhelmed the hell out of me. So I was thinking, like, how in the hell do you pay bills and you only make it? Like, I was looking at them like I didn't understand how you pay bills, because I'm like, what the fuck you finna do with you? It seemed to me all of this stuff that you are responsible for is more than what you're getting paid. So I used to be just there dumb as hell, like, how do they do this? And then they still go buy food and all this. So I didn't know how to do that. So guess what I went and did? Got up under a man. Because I'm like, what I'm supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? And to this day, I'm still halfway codependent. I'm not no independent woman. That's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And part of it is from the way that, I was raised when I came up and everything or whatever the case may be. But to me, like, this math don't be mathed into me. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't with no like struggling and trying to piece and put all this stuff together myself or whatever the case may be. No. Y'all do that. That's not the Asia. That's not me. But a lot of that comes from not even getting there. And it's not no shot, you know what I'm saying, at parents or anything like that. Because one thing I want to say too about parenting that I had to learn with going through things with my parents is they don't have a manual. Hell, them motherfuckers, they don't know me. I just popped up out of somebody's vagina or whatever. We all in here trying to get to know each other. Y'all some strangers, bitch. I'm a stranger. You know what I'm saying? We all trying to get to know each other and everything. We trying to figure out how to do this. This person ain't never been a mama before. This person ain't never been a daddy before, and all of that or whatever the case may be. They love me. They did what they did the best thing that they could possibly do. So I can't be sitting up here 35 years old trying to blame something on somebody else. That's not what I'm doing here. But what I'm saying is, without having that prior knowledge, it can push you in certain type of directions. And a lot of that stuff do stick with you. So we have to be very careful in situations like this. When we get examples like this little girl like Deja, and we want to judge the situation too harshly, we want to look at all of the nuances in a situation that can lead into this particular situation. You get what I'm saying? Let me read some of these comments. Ruth Anna said, girl, he's 55. He put up their marriage license. She didn't even know how old he was. That's pitiful. Jazz said, I don't even think their ages is the issue. I'm so bothered because this is her godfather, someone who would potentially have custody of her. Exactly. And Jazz, that's what I was saying earlier. The thing is with him being her godfather is not so much that part right there. I know it sounds real crazy to people. And I know people like, ugh, it's so disgusting or whatever the case may be. But let's be honest. A lot of young women go and date older men looking for a father figure. He just so happens to have had the title. And even though, if something were to happen, he would have had custody of her. It's the same difference where a younger girl going to look for a man who's older because she's looking for a father figure. Essentially, he has custody of her. It's pretty much the same difference. So if we take out our emotions about the situations and the connotation behind the words, then we'll be able to better understand the psychology behind a bunch of this shit. Jazz said, I'm most disgusted by that as a person who has a godchild. Indeed. And then you're very active in your godchild's life. And the thing is, y'all not in the ratchet. Y'all not in Ratchet, Florida. Y'all ain't down there in the ghetto. But I don't know what you were saying $20 for. If y'all want to cash out me $20 or whatever, give me a little tip or something. It's $ the Asia Robinson 901. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate, and I think that a lot of people they give people passes. It depends if it's a man, if it's a man in this particular situation. I don't know what's this flying around, y'all. The man in this situation, I think, because it wouldn't have even made news, it wouldn't have even been a thing if he wouldn't have been her godfather. Let's be very clear. If he wouldn't have been her godfather, it would not have made news, which it needs to have made news, regardless if he was her godfather or not, because this is an issue that we have with these men grooming these young girls. Because guess what? Now, we didn't make it wouldn't have been an issue normally if it wasn't her godfather. But let's look at the PJ Washington and Brittany Renner situation. It's a younger guy who got some money, who gets with a woman that's an older woman. Now all of a sudden, oh, she's a predator. See, when a younger guy mess with an older woman or whatever the case may be, they kind of look down upon that woman and all that kind of stuff, or whatever the case may be. But all of a sudden, in this particular situation, she's a predator. Not only now, this man done laid down on top of her, raw dogged her, done got her pregnant, got her with a baby or whatever. And I think they say I don't even know how old PJ actually is. I think she said that he was 20 when he got with her and she was 26. I don't see the big issue with that. I really don't, But people want to look at her and say, oh, you a predator. You a gold digger. You tried to use him. Quit playing like these young boys don't like going after these older women. Just the same way somebody might be looking at it and being saying that Brittany looked at the situation like, okay, this was a come up for her. This was a meal ticket for her. It's the same way PJ, that young boy, look at this girl. She supposed to be the baddest thing on IG. She done been with all these big name rappers or whatever. He dealing with her for the status. Oh, I done smashed. I done had her too, type of thing. Quit playing like this is not how guys get down. But then we got to look at, where do we draw the line? Keisha said, I thought he was 18. 18, 20. One of them, I don't know how old either one of those people are. I don't even know. The only thing I know is Deja is 18. Everybody else, I don't know their age. But what I do know, the issue is somebody is a whole lot older than the other person. That's what I do know. And if he was 18 years old, it's still the same. It's a difference with young girls and young boys. And another thing that I want us to understand too is there are going to be double standards in just about everything. We're not going to be able to have everything both ways, right? There's always going to be a double standard. Like if you look at the simple fact that, okay, girls, they do mature faster than boys. So when you see a situation where if you see a situation where an older woman is dealing with a younger boy, you be like, what's wrong with her? Because what can he do? Because we automatically gonna look at, she just want him for sex or whatever the case may be. That just gotta be it, or just some company companionship or whatever. Because we gonna look at her crazy, because what can this young guy do for this older woman? Where else this older guy dealing with a younger woman, depending on how big of the age gap, they could probably be on the same wavelength. Like I give or take about a 10-year gap. I ain't tripping off of a 10-year gap if everybody is of legal age. Now, I would kind of have an issue with a 18 and a 28-year-old, but I won't have an issue with a 28-year-old and a 38-year-old. You get what I'm saying? Because they don't basically kind of pretty much experience life. They know themselves a little bit better. But an 18-year-old, you fresh out of high school, you still got milk on your breath, or whatever the case may be. If you a girl, you still probably wiping from the back to the front. You a boy, you know what I'm saying? You ain't even shaking that thing off good after you piss or whatever the case. You don't even know to dab it with tissue or anything. Y'all hygiene ain't even up to par. You know what I'm saying? So y'all don't even have no business dealing with nobody but the people who are in your same age range that could deal with the little stench that you come with every now and then. It ain't no reason for a 28-year-old to be fooling around with a 18-year-old. You done experienced so too much. By that time, a 28-year-old, 9 times out of 10, you done already went to college, and you about 28. You got your masters by now if you stayed in college, right? Because you get your associates. You about got your master. You probably working on your PhD. Probably got a couple of credits working on your PhD. You on your way to be a doctor by this time. You got a whole career path. This person don't even know where they finna go to college at. Y'all ain't got nothing in common. You ain't got no business talking to that person. But once you get a certain age, those age gaps don't mean a whole lot. Like if you 30 years old and you want to talk to a 50-year-old, do you, boo-boo? Do you? I mean, you could deal with that erectile dysfunction if you want to. But if that's what you want to do that. I ain't got no issue with you. But 18, come on, that's still a baby. Keisha said, I think if she was 18, she was able to manipulate him in a predatory way because of the maturity. Yeah. Could be. She said she got off on him what a more mature man wouldn't have fell for. Yeah. Because she done been with some ballers. She done been with Colin Kaepernick. She done been with Drake. I want to say Tiger. But you know what? What make me feel like maybe she could be a little throwed is she been with Lil Uzi. So, but I actually, do I follow Britney on IG? I think I follow Britney on IG. And actually, I like some of the stuff that she got to say. She don't seem like a bad person at all. You know, she seemed like one of those, pretty girls or whatever. She got a lot of game on her. But she don't seem like a bad person or whatever the case may be. She's like one of those girls, I'm going to get you before you get me. And my thing is they going after her, so that it is what it is. But she don't seem like, and I actually like the interview. She had an interview with DJ Academic, and she made some very interesting points where she was like, well, it was okay for Beyonce and Jay-Z. It's like it's certain people that y'all go up for who are in these relationships with such an age gap. It's some people that y'all go up for, then y'all don't see it for other people. And I guess because they looking at it like she preyed on him because he has this promising career or whatever, so she tried to hurry up and get in where she fit in. Now the way she bust her move on him, it did seem like, she was there for a meal ticket or whatever the case may be. But, maybe he was with her for a certain reason and she was with him for a certain reason. And, an even swap is not a swindle. JSA, who is Brittany? Brittany Renner, the PJ Washington baby mama. But anyway, y'all, we have to definitely take into account that these young people in these situations, they never really win. PJ, he didn't win in this situation. Even though these men at a very young age or whatever, they could be dogs and all this old kind of stuff, and they gonna sow their wild oats at a young age or whatever. As an older woman, I feel like she should have protected herself. Like, this boy, he could have ruined his life just being in the streets, right? He done did all of this work. He done made it to the NBA and all this old kind of stuff. But he done ended. He's ruining his life fooling with a woman, and a woman that she knows better, and she knows what she's doing. Go after, give the little boy a chance. Leave him alone. Go after, put a hole in a condom with one of you should have got pregnant by Drake. You know what I'm saying? You've been laying down with Drake the whole time or whatever the case may be. You fumbled too many bags. If like, and that's the thing too. I'm like, was she really with him for the money? Because if she was really with him for the money, then she fumbled too many bags. Because you done been with Drake, Tiger, Colin Kaepernick. I think everybody done been with Future. So she done been with Future. Everybody done been with Future. I don't care who your name. She done been with Future. You done been with Lil Uzi. And whether y'all like Lil Uzi or not, like this young generation, Lil Uzi, he's stacked. He got money. You know what I'm saying? So you done been with all of these ballers. Matter of fact, I think she done been with Michael B. Jordan. You done fumble all of these bags. So I don't know if she was really after him for the money, or if those guys who she was with were mature enough not to fall for the BS. I don't know. Keisha said, that's why I said an older man won't fall for her tricks. Yep, that's what I kind of started to think. Like, maybe it's just the fact that they're older and they know better than to fall for it, and they didn't. But I don't know. It is what it is. But I think we do need to take into account, I still feel the same way. If that boy was 18 years old, and if I'm not mistaken, she had something to do with him. She had something to do with him inking his deal or whatever. I don't know what type of role she was playing or whatever, but she had something to do with it. If she was sitting there in the cut watching him as he was underage or whatever the case may be, and trying to wait until his 18th birthday, if that was the case, then I consider that to be pedophilia as well. To me, I don't feel like I don't feel like you could get a pass with messing with a person who is so much younger than you until they out of their teens. Because to me, if 18 and 19, you're still a teenager. You're still a teenager. Like, at least, let the 20, okay. But 18, 19 years old, I can't give you no pass for that. I really can't give you no pass for that. That really gives me very much a pedophilia vibe. It really does. And this grooming situation is so pathetic. It's so pathetic for this older person to be sitting here waiting in a cut, and it says a lot about the older person. It makes you almost, I want to say, gonna feel sorry for him, because I never feel sorry, just feel sorry for a predator. But it makes you think about what it is that they lack, where they feel like, not to say anything bad about the younger person, but it's like they're going after low-hanging fruit. Like, they don't even have what it takes to be competitive out here amongst their peers. Like, maybe they felt a certain type of way when they was in school and everything, and then feel like that they could get the people that, came up with them or whatever. And so now they want to prey on like younger people or whatever, and snatch up what is easy, and not have to actually do any work, and not have to work on themselves and learn how to communicate and do what is necessary in order to get somebody that's their age. Maybe it's a certain, because a younger girl dealing with an older guy, if she's still in school, he ain't got to do nothing but have a box Chevy. Where else this woman his age, baby, you got to have a house. It got to be a gate around it. You got to have a dog and a goldfish by now. You know what I'm saying? You better have 401k. You better have a vacation home somewhere in Turks and Caicos. You better have all the above. You really got to grow up, and you really got to be a man when you come into a woman. And if you're not ready to grow up, And if you're not ready to take on the actual responsibility of a man, then you will go after somebody who's not going to expect much of you and hold you accountable. So that lets everybody know that you're lacking in some area. And the same thing with the woman who is after these younger boys that is so much younger than them, or whatever the case may be. Something is lacking inside of you where you may not can communicate properly. You may not can do a certain thing. Like this young boy might be okay with you constantly cooking him goddamn Alfredo and putting that heavy ass corn on the cob on them paper plates. And I'm sick of y'all doing it. Y'all be cooking this packaged Alfredo with a couple of salad shrimps from Walmart, and then y'all go throw y'all a Texas toast on there, and y'all go put this heavy ass corn on the cob on the side of it. The damn plate gonna collapse while you bringing him the food, but the young guy, he's okay with it. You bringing him this unbalanced ass plate out here. And this older man is gonna get sick and tired of eating that Lipton's chicken Alfredo with parsley sprinkled all over the goddamn place. He gonna get sick and tired of it. Where else that younger guy, he might accept that my baby, she be cooking for me or whatever the case may be. And now you got a plate of steak on a paper plate on your leg or whatever. And you sitting up here, you trying to cut up a steak on a paper plate that's sitting on your leg. You gonna be slice your goddamn thigh open. She done bought you this paper plate full of food. But you thinking you got you something because she's an older woman and she's doing something that the younger girls couldn't do. Like you was at school having your hand out getting hot Cheetos and Takis from the younger girls. And now you got this older lady, she bringing you your food and all this old kinds of stuff or whatever, making you feel like you have a mother. And she letting you play your little funky game in silence and all that old kinds of stuff, right? So now you feel like, oh, you got you something. But she know that she can do the bare minimum in order to have you instead of going to get her a grown ass man that's of her age or whatever case may be, because she don't have what it takes as a woman to do what needs to be done in order to keep a man that's around her age. So everybody lacking in something, and it's just sad. Keisha said, so they were probably the low-hanging fruit at some point, or socially awkward to where they can't relate to their peers. Exactly. That's exactly what I think it is, But anyway, child, it's just sad. I hate to see it. I used to tell my friend, I had a friend, may she rest in peace. She her son, very handsome little boy. And she used to post pictures of him. I used to get so mad. I had got so mad to where I went off on her for posting pictures of her own child. She happy, things, you want to post your kids, you want to, and I be careful with posting kids online. Even my nephews and stuff like that, I try and make sure, I post them in a certain light. Even my little nephew, sometimes he'll be running around with his little pamper on or something like that. Or sometimes they both be running around in their drawers or something like that or whatever. And we think nothing of it because we're not pedophiles. We like, this is just an innocent little kid. And we're just sitting around the house or whatever the case may be. But you got to be careful with posting that certain stuff. And we live in this world where we feel like we should be able to do it. And these people, we shouldn't have to be worrying about these other people. Yes, you do. Unfortunately, it's your responsibility to protect yourself and your children from these pedophiles, right? So I be careful when posting them. But what she used to do, she'll post her son. And these women will be all in the comment, "Oh, girl, you better get him some condoms. He gonna be a heartbreaker or whatever." I said, listen. I said, take him down from there. Take him off of there. And she was like, why you can't tell me what to do on my page? Now, this is my friend. You can't tell me what to do on my page and this is that and the other. We would go, I'm talking about hard in the paint. I'm talking about argue down for me telling her what to do on her own page. Because you're not finna have these old ass, because you're not realizing, you looking at it For some reason, you sitting up here, you thinking, and you're looking at it as like it's a compliment. This is some fucking pedophiles. And you don't even know it. If a man were to post his daughter and all of these guys would have been on there talking about, ooh, he did, she this, and she that, or whatever the case may be, they'll be ready to light into his ass. But because it's women talking about a little boy, and we try to act like a little boy's body is not as sacred as a little girl's body, because it's these women talking about a boy, and we definitely have sexually objectified these little boys to make them seem like ain't nothing sacred about them. And so now all of a sudden, oh, it's a compliment. Or they sitting up here playing. It's another thing that I don't like. You see these older women playing with these little boys, talking about this my little boyfriend. They playing like they got a little kid boyfriend and stuff like that. Do you ever see grown men playing with a little girl like that, talking about this my little play girlfriend or whatever? When they come over, this my little girlfriend. You don't see that because that's some sick ass shit. Quit playing with these little kids talking about that's my little boyfriend, and you let him feel all up on you. You think it's cute because he grabbing on your big ass butt or whatever the case may be. You a pedophile. Ain't nothing cute about that. If I'm around a kid, and you know how kids will put their hands or whatever the case may be, or they just get the plan or whatever, don't touch me right there. I go ahead and correct them. Nah, don't do that. And they ain't thinking nothing of it or whatever the case may be, but it just makes me uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? It just makes me uncomfortable. So I'm like, nah, don't be doing all of that. And they had got to the point where I was just like, I'm finna have to block you. Cause you don't see no wrong with it. And the fact that you don't see no wrong with it is finna make me side eye you. And I love you, you my friend. So I don't want to get the side eye you for the simple fact you don't see anything wrong with it, but it's because of the way that our society is set up that we think things like this is okay, and it's absolutely not okay. Ruth Anna said that shit is weird, Joe. It is very weird. It's sickening. I can't stand to see it. Just say extremely. Girl, yeah, it's a whole hot mess, and this stuff been going on since the beginning of time, and it's gonna continue to go on. But we have to be careful, and we gotta be mindful of what it is, and we just got to get to the point where we just call a spade a spade. If you're sitting up there, let me tell you something. If you sitting up there and you looking at if you sitting up there and you a farmer and you looking at a young fruit and you waiting for it to ripen, ain't you still considered a farmer when you pick it? Whether you pick it, if you pick it too early or if you pick it once it's right, you still gonna be considered a farmer because you sitting up there, you watching your crop. It's the same thing with these people watching these young kids trying to groom these young kids or whatever the case may be. Whether you run in and you do something inappropriate to them when they are not of legal age, or whether you wait until they reach 18 and you do something to them and you've been watching them the whole time, baby, you are still a motherfucking pedophile. And I hope y'all done picked up what I'm putting down, because I'm just over the whole thing. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. What I want y'all to do is like this video, share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm about to tune out. Y'all have a good one.
I hope you black men were paying attention. I hope you black men were paying attention.